on our way to the most magical place on Earth. It's both cliche and overstated, even a bit overhyped too, but we didn't care. This trip had been in our minds for the past 3 years. Seemingly every step we took alongside our band life was in anticipation for the trip to top them all. And then the day finally came. I looked at the seat next to me on the gigantic plane we were in. She looked back at me and giggled, echoing the same feeling of excitement I felt. Looking to my opposite side, I saw him, my other best friend, sitting there with a smile I rarely ever saw often until now. As the plane touched down and we walked into the Florida airport, we gushed about all the rides we would go on, even though it had been the topic of conversation for months beforehand. We spent our days at school planning out which routes to take, what rides took priority, and how many times we'd be able to ride them all. Putting way too much effort into something as mundane as a trip to a theme park. But it wasn't just that to us. To us, this was freedom. A dream finally come true. Time passed as we dropped our things off at the hotel, sat through safety talks with the band directors telling us to stay safe and stay with your friends, and don't forget to have fun. I thought to myself that those are the two things I take pride in being good at. And finally, the time came. We stepped off the monorail and onto the red bricks of the entrance of the park. The sky clear and blue. The air fresh and cool. Disney music filling our ears. Smiles on each of our faces that we no longer had to force. This is what it is to be free. She looked at me, laughing, and said, "Go ahead. Take us to the best rides, Jacob." I looked at him for a second wave of approval, and he simply nodded. Taking their hands like children, we rushed to the first ride on the list of the Magic Kingdom. Pirates of the Caribbean. Getting into the boats, he commented on how immersing it all felt. I told him that there's really nothing like this in the world. Rides copy and pasted, sure, but the energy just hits different here. We rode down the dark waters, past the skeletons and bones with pirate hats, past the ships firing cannonballs past our ducking heads, and through a half-burning town of drunken pirates and dogs with keys. He and I both bought cheap plastic pirate swords from the gift shop, while she settled with a Mickey Mouse hat and purple backpack that matched her hair. Next, we went to Space Mountain, then Thunder Mountain, and the Haunted Mansion too, filling our hunger with the best churros and terrifyingly overpriced soft drinks. Splash Mountain, Hall of Presidents, Peter Pan's Flight, and the strangely dark and scary ride of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. All in all, a day very well spent. The next day, we woke up to the sun shining into the open curtains of our hotel room. I beat him with a pillow to wake him up, and after gathering our things, we rushed down to meet her down in the lobby. Today, we were going to Hollywood Studios. First, we went to ride her favorite ride, the Rock and Roller Coaster. Hands in the air the entire time. The sunburn never bothered us. The lines always worth the wait. We made the most of our time there. After riding every ride in that park, we finally came upon the thing that I had been anticipating the most ever since I heard of its grand opening the previous year. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Neither of my best friends were much of a Star Wars fan, but like the good companions they were, they came along with me to the immersing world. The rides were exhilarating, but the best part of the park is what came next. After 30 minutes of careful construction, we lifted our lightsabers we had constructed into the air. She held out her purple blade, right next to his crimson, and in the middle was my green one. Our last day was spent back at the original park, in the Magic Kingdom, rewriting all the rides and enjoying them just as much as the first time. The bright joy on our faces never fading. Soon the day passed and the sky became dark, but we stayed in the park, past the shutdown of all the rides, and then all of us gathered in front of the sprawling castle at the center of it all. Time slowed as the first firework went off, and then the next, and then the next, shooting off into the sky and bursting with an amazing light in tune with the music wafting up from around us. I look again to my best friends, their faces plastered with the lights of the fireworks, purple and then blue and then green. He looks at me, tells me we did it, man, and she finishes with, we made that long-awaited dream come true. The grand finale blasted us with light and sound as we closed in on one another for one final hug. And after a moment, I turned my face to show one last time, to see the lights, to hear the sounds, to exist in that perfect memory. We really did it, I thought. I closed my eyes, trying my best to stop time and savor every second. And then, when I opened them, I woke up from my dream. Because after all, it was just a dream.